head in the shot.
Yeah, right, look, we're at the hole in the wall, and all of these cottages are all one big bar. And I think today's special guest, Daragh,
Oi, oi.
I think he's brought me to this place. It's the longest bar in Europe, and I think that he's going to race me down it, and my little legs are going to be like the road runner, and he's going to take about 3 steps and he'll get down there. We're going to go and we're going to have a pint. We're going to probably have a pint of Guinness. Why not? We're in Dublin.
Has to be done.
Has to be done. All right, let's
Lovely.
go.
Here we are in, well, I mean, look, we've had a cracking few pints in a few pubs in Dublin, and we've come a little bit away out of Dublin to come to this special pub. Why did we come to this pub, Daragh?
For many reasons, I would say number one, because it's known as the longest pub in Europe. Just be a row of cottages. It was bought by Martin, who's the owner now, bought by his dad, I think, in 1972. Turned into one big long pub. If you actually walk up and down, you can see different things that make it very obvious that they would have been cottages, like little things that would lead to stairways and stuff like that. It's also unbelievable. We're here, not at Christmas time, but it's unbelievably famous for the Christmas decorations. I believe a couple of years ago, it took them 8 weeks to put the decorations up, with people working from...
That's basically you put them up and then it's time to take them down then,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
2
Okay.
a.m. to 10
Spend
a.m.
like 4 months of the year
Yeah.
putting Christmas decorations up and taking them down.
Literally, 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. every night for 8 weeks or something, and then there's not an inch of the wall that isn't a Christmas decoration. Sláinte.
So, the hole in the wall pub, as was said earlier on, yes, it was a row of cottages. There was 7 cottages and a 2-storey house here. As the cottages came up for sale, PJ McCaffrey, Martin's father, would buy them up, and each section of the bar was an actual individual house. So it each has its own character, and you can feel it as you walk through, because each bar has its own little niche. So we have what we call our entrance bar, or our president's bar, as you're in the president's little niche here. Then we have our coffee section, we have our Guinness bar. We also have a selection of 100 whiskies in our new whiskey bar. Well, it's family owned, 2nd generation, but we have our own range of whiskies, gins, pink gins, vodkas. We've three types of whiskey. We've a 12-year-old blend, we've a 5-year-old single grain, a 4-year-old single malt, and our gin and our pink gin have won awards in England and in America. This is our whiskey bar. We've over 100 whiskies, mostly Irish, some international. But as you can see, you've got the top of the range there. You have all the big players. And I'd like to just introduce our 12-year-old, our blend, McCaffrey's whiskey. Up there with the best of them. Savour. This is a sipping whiskey, right? Doesn't need water, doesn't need ice. This is when you're having a conversation. It's a social whiskey. Yeah, absolutely. It's a 5-year-old single grain. It's really, really smooth. Try this.
So just a tiny little sip.
Just a little sip.
Let it touch your lips.
And what you'll find is you'll find it's gentle, soft on the palate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, usually with whiskey, I'm like, so it's, no, it's good. Right?
12-year-old
You're
blend.
giving it to us.
I've opened the box specifically for you.
Well,
Okay. Now this is really a special occasion. I'd say you'd probably want a bit of ice. Again, it's quite subtle, but just to take the edge off it.
He might be 6 foot something and have arms as big as my legs, but we're not convinced he's a whiskey. He says he's a whiskey win
I
player.
put my hands up early and said, whiskey win. Nostril hairs came off there. Yeah, I mean, once you don't neck it, then it's actually fine. Like, do you know,
But you can feel the difference.
Yeah,
You can feel the difference.
Yeah.
It's a much more special occasion.
yeah, but definitely, yeah. No. But it's that kind of sacrilege. People watch that going, put fucking ice in it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The whiskey warrior.
Oh, that's like really smooth. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have such a limited palate. You know, we talked about
You're
like
preaching to the choir.
we talked about like wine and like Guinness and like how you can always tell good and bad, and the stuff in the middle, like really, you can't tell very much.
yeah.
Like
That's special.
you know, like most of the stuff in the middle after one, the second one tastes fine. That's really silky. Like that's
brilliant.
Really
Limited
smooth.
edition. There's only 301 bottles.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, it is kind of sacrilege that we're having this six pints of Guinness in. But, you know.
It's €100 a bottle.
It's not.
It's not
So,
horrendous,
like,
yeah. It's a premium, but I don't think because the brand is
For
not
our
well
English viewers, that's about £100.
That's only about 85.
known.
Bargain.
Price point, you price yourself out of the market if you go much higher. If you want to call your whiskey Irish, you have to jump through hoops.
Are they the ones that are saying you?
You buy liquid off them, and
Or are
then
they
you
the
make.
ones that are saying you have to jump through these hoops?
Oh
or
no,
is it like a
no, Irish
body?
government. So the Phoenix Park, the largest enclosed park in Europe, it dates back to the 1170s when it was first granted to the Knights Templar when they came to Ireland in the late 1160s. It was passed on, and then it was given to the royal government, took it back and used it as a hunting ground for nearly 100 years. It wasn't open to the public till 1745, and then in 16 was open to the public in 1645, and in 1657 they enclosed the park. The hole in the wall was actually built 5 years previous to that, and it was a very small tavern, a very important location because this used to be the main road to Tara and Trim. Now Tara is the home as the seat of the High Kings of Ireland, so this would have been one of the stopping off points for anyone going to visit one of the most historical sites in Ireland. Trim Castle, also very famous, built by Strongbow in 1170 also.
You're not short of castles in Ireland, are you?
Absolutely not. We've one in every town. So it was a pivotal place in the travelling community as well as servicing the park. So it also served the British soldiers, that's how it got its name, by serving Guinness through a hole in the park because they weren't allowed to leave the park. So they had to come down through the park, there was a hole in the wall, and they used to serve the pint out through that. Now, it gets better. It was run by a person called Nancy Hand. Now that name is on a few pubs around the city, but she was known as a woman of ill repute as well. So she might have been just doing more than serving a few pints.
You know what I mean? And there's all the stories about obviously the graveyard, and they'd say the gravediggers would put the shovel through the gate and they'd put a pint on it and give him back, like, because